Okay, in today's lecture, we're going to cover up, inshallah, to talk about MCQs type of questions. And MCQs type of questions are very common in your IELTS listening test. Both MCQs you may expect in your section 2 as well as in section 3. So in both sections, you may expect MCQs type of questions. And these MCQs can be of two different types. MCQs number 1 with single answers, and MCQs with multiple answers. Now, what I mean by single answer MCQs and multiple answer MCQs, single answer MCQs means you will have only one question and one answer, one option you need to select. But when it comes about multiple answers MCQs, one question with multiple of answers, that can be 2 or even 3 answers. So we call them multiple answers. And you may expect both. You may expect single answers MCQs as well as multiple answer MCQs. And as I said earlier, we do have clear MCQs you may expect in section 2 as well as in section 3. In both sections, you will find your MCQs. Please mute your mics. Okay. So, as we studied that MCQs are of two types, single and as well as multiple answers. Okay, before moving towards practical, Claire, to practice it practically, we need to study some of the strategies. Please keep your mics on mute. All right. So here we come. What are IELTS listening MCQs? So one question, several choices, and you are supposed to select which option is the best. So either you will have several options, but you may select only one answer, or you may select for one question, multiple answers. So you may have both clear opportunities. Once we start studying practically, we'll understand. Students chose the correct option from A, B, C, or more. The audio often gives similar ideas. The answer is usually paraphrased. Wrong option may sound tempting. So you need to keep in your mind the first thing, listen for meaning, not for word. And the first idea is not always the correct. And final meaning usually win. We will study these points, inshallah, in today's lecture, one by one in more detail. Okay, so the question is, why students lose marks in MCQs? Why don't they perform good in this part of the test? The first clear part is keyword trap. It's a very common trap, and students, they are easily trapped by the IELTS examiner. And what is that? The first part, that is keyword trap. And let me explain it a bit in detail. Keyword trap means that you will hear a word that you will have in your options as well. Like, for example, and your option, there is a question clear in option number A. And they have written here about, for example, expensive. They have written expensive. And what clear, the IELTS examiner, he repeats exactly the same word, expensive. Like the speaker, he says exactly the same word, expensive. And your option number A, suppose, or option B or C or D, whatever option, that is again expensive. This is a big trap because IELTS examiner will never use exact words. They will always paraphrase it. They will use a synonym for the word expensive. You will hear the correct answer can be any of the synonym. They can never use the word expensive, what they have given in an option and what the speaker says, both are exactly the same. So that is a trap. That's a keyword trap. So make sure they hear one familiar word and chose too fast. Even if there are a couple of words and one of the blanks, like this option number one, and they have written a couple of words. Like suppose if I say students need to improve listening. So what if you just only hear listening, Claire, or you hear the word student and students they believe this can be the right answer, Claire, you're wrong. Why? Because examiner is not going to use exact words. If they try to use exact words, they will use exact words only to trap you. That's the first option, that they want to trap you. That's the first point, that never ever select, Claire, कभी भी आप लोगों ने उस ऑप्शन को सेलेक्ट नहीं करना जो exactly the same word they have repeated. If you select that, so that's a big trap and you will get zero for that. Point number one. Point number two is change of mind. Change of mind. Always remember that examiner, he can change his mind. For example, first of all, he said something about option number A, and that was totally 100% correct information he provides. But later on, what happens? He changes his mind. When he changes his mind, so the previous option number one information, what he provided you, clear? That is now incorrect. Now he will provide you the information that can be B or C or D. So the speaker says one thing, then corrects it. First of all, he says the first option. So make sure, as I told you, final words always win. Most of the time in IELTS listening, students, what they do, they rush. When you rush, when you don't listen to the speaker properly, you do not focus, you do not let the speaker complete the idea, complete his words, and you just mark it, So that's a big trap and you will get zero for that. So make sure when the examiner, he changes his mind, you catch the examiner, okay? If you don't catch him, the way he changes his mind, what words they can use to change his mind, I will give you later on, okay? After this slide, I'm gonna provide you. So change of mind, be careful. Next, too much panic. When students, they miss one question and lose focus. Look, if you have missed one question, no problem at all, because 49 other questions are waiting for you. So do not be panic. And the next problem, the students, they make mistake, no prediction. They do not think about synonyms before listening. Always keep in your mind, what if they have their right improve? So do not think that speaker would say improve. Always think for what? For the synonyms. Examiner can use different synonyms, like he can say enhance, he can say boost. So different synonyms they can use. So when you predict your answers before the listening starts, so it helps you clear to find out the correct answer. But what if you don't predict? Before the listening, the speaker starts. So you may what? You may quite easily lose your marks. So these are the 4 points. What points you need to be very careful? Do not panic, okay, if you missed any of the questions. Number one. Number two, do not be clear. The keyword should not trap you. And then when the examiner cleared the speaker, he changes his mind. Be careful that you catch the speaker when he changes his mind. And then always predict. Clear synonyms, keywords. Next. The first thing, Claire, what is some of the rules? Examiner, as I told you, he never uses clear exact words, but in fact, he always use synonyms and he might paraphrase it. So how he can paraphrase and how he can use synonyms? Listen for the idea. The first part is I have written here. Listen for the idea, not the exact words. Why students they lose marks in listening? Because they try to listen for the exact words. Suppose the question they have said expensive and you try to hear expensive, an examiner he repeats exactly the same word. So that's a trap. That cannot be the right answer. Correct answer, keep in your mind, correct answer is always paraphrased. They are going to use synonym for that. What if the speaker, he says, the audio says cost too much? So don't you think that if something costs too much, it means that it's expensive? Now both clear, same meaning, different words. So if anyone who knows that the speaker is going to use different words but with the same meaning, you try to match meaning. You don't try to match words. If anyone who wants to try to match words, he cannot achieve high band in IELTS listening. If someone who tries to match meaning, he will get 100% of his score. So the first point, always try to match ideas and meaning, not words. Okay, before listening, what you are supposed to do that when the speaker he starts clear. So what you are supposed to do, the first thing, read the question first and underline key meaning words. If there are some of the keywords, so try to underline that. And once you underline the keyword, Claire, if you underline the keywords, then the second step, what you are supposed to do, try to think for what? Predict for the synonyms. For the keywords, what you have, first of all, read the question. Then once you read the question, Claire, after that, underline your keywords. Once you underline the keywords, and then you can go for predict their synonyms, what synonyms they can use. And the fourth point, notice opposite ideas. Sometimes they give you the opposite ideas. If they give the opposite idea, so that the answer can be wrong, not the correct one. So always think before the speaker starts. If someone who knows, who thinks before the speaker starts, so you can achieve high band. But if you don't, then you may lose easy marks there. Okay, during listening, what you are supposed to do and what not to do. The first point, Claire, what you're supposed to do during, keep listening. Wait for full idea. Most of the time, students, they don't wait for this point, and you are trapped easily. Number one, keep listening. And do not, Claire, mark your correct answer until you listen for the full idea. Number one, avoid this. Do not choose too early. Do not follow one word only, and do not be panicked. Remember, the speaker may change direction. They may change mind. The answer may come at the end. So final meaning always wins. What if student, like, he or she doesn't wait for the full idea, and you try, Claire, to answer so early, too early. So if you try to choose your answer too early, so you may conclude, Claire, the wrong answer, not the correct one, and you will lose easy marks then. So what I have written here, this is very important. Final meaning always, Claire, it wins. Now, this is what, like, the important, Claire, I would say the most important slide. What you are supposed to do, trap words and signals. These are trap words and signals. These often introduce wrong answers first. If you have these words, make sure you catch the examiner when he says at first. At first. When the speaker says at first, so what does it mean? It means that the examiner, what he says after at first, that is incorrect. At first, like for example, at first. So words he gives you. So now that is incorrect. The examiner is going to correct himself later on. For example, at first I thought to be a police officer. Look, at first I thought. Clear? At first I thought. So now if you say I thought, again, that's the wrong answer. What, Clear? Words after thought, that is incorrect. Words before but, mostly that is incorrect as well. At first, I thought to be a police officer, but. So now, but cancels all ideas again. So, but, Claire, I became a teacher. So now, what is the correct answer? Do you think that the correct answer is police officer or teacher? So the correct answer can be a teacher. Why? Because at first, I thought. So both ideas are incorrect. So words before, after, at first, or I thought are usually wrong. And words, Claire, after but, that can be the right answer. And you need to catch the examiner with however. You need to catch the examiner with actually. You need to catch the examiner with and the end. These are the words, Claire. We call them what? We call them trapping words. These are the signals. And these signals, Claire, if you don't know, when the speaker he uses these signals, and you don't catch the speaker properly. Or for example, they say, I used to. I used to. So now it's the past. I used to. Now this again a trap signal. It's a trap word, and they can quite easily misguide you. When you hear these words, they should listen more carefully then. Whenever there are these words, at first, I thought, but, in the end, actually, however, so make sure you listen more carefully then, not the answer immediately. Never answer immediately, because usually the correct answers are after these words. Okay, so how to analyze options? So make sure, for example, there are three options. The first option is cheaper, the second one is faster, the third one is easier. So there are different options. So cheaper, students should separate options by meaning before listening. Look, you need to differentiate between all these three answers: cheaper, faster, and easier. This makes it easier to gauge the real difference. What makes? If you separate options by meaning before listening, so it makes it clear what? Easier to catch it. And they stop confusion, clear? It stop confusing similar answer choices. So always remember, keep in your mind that if there are three options, so make sure you analyze these options fast and you understand the difference between all those options. Okay, let's start taking one of the questions. Suppose this is my question. Let me first of all do like this, then after that I will perform practically. The first question, why did the student choose library tour? Why did? It's in the past. Reason. This tour. Number one, it was cheaper, it was quieter, it was shorter. So there are three words: cheaper, quieter, and shorter. So there is difference between, and quickly you need to understand what's the difference between these three words. And what if the audio says it wasn't the price? Can you see wasn't? And most of the time students, they cannot differentiate between it was the price or it wasn't the price. So there's difference between wasn't and was. What if you just hear it wasn't the price and you hear the price only and you try to catch what? Cheaper. So that's wrong. So price is, but it said what? It wasn't the price. So can we say that this can be the right answer? No, it wasn't the price. I just wanted a place with less noise to study. So what was the reason? It wasn't the price. Because of the price, the reason behind it wasn't the price. The reason behind Claire that she chose studying where what? The library. That was because of what? The place was less noisy to study. So less noisy to study gives you exactly the same meaning. That is about quieter. Less noise, noisy means quieter. So the correct answer can be what? That's B, not A. And usually examiner, he deceives you with what? With price. And students, they think like, okay, price is more related with cheaper and that can be the right answer. No, that's the wrong. That was a trap. He said first of all price, so it was a trap. Now let's start taking the second question. What does the speaker like most about the course? Most. The speaker like the teacher, the schedule, or practical task. For example, they have said at first, and as I told you, at first when say that's a trap. It's a trap. At first. I thought it's a trap. The timetable was the best part. At first I thought the timetable was the best part. So now you hear timetable, and most of the time students what they start selecting what? Too early. And what is that? They think like schedule can be the right answer. But schedule cannot be the right answer. Why? Because he said, at first I thought, and I told you that at first and I thought, both of them, they are trap words. So make sure you understand them. But, so as I told you, when the speaker says but, so the previous ideas cancels. So the idea they used previously, it cancelled, and now but, the hands-on tasks helped me most. The hands-on task helped me the most. So now what do you think? Is it about teacher? No. Practical task. Hands-on task mean practical task. Straight away we can go to select that of C options then. So what we can do, read, underline, predict, wait, choose, and check. Right now, we are going to perform some practical tasks. Okay. Here's a question for you. The first one, it's about question number 1. So the question number 1, they ask you about when it was found. Stevenson's was found N dash. So how many numbers do you have? There are 3 numbers, and the correct answer can be only 1. So I can ask you, first of all, I can play the recording, and then I will ask you when it was found, okay? So let me play the recording.
Part 2. You will hear the managing director of a company called Stevenson's welcoming a group of work experience students. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14.
So keep in mind that he will repeat all these 3 options, but the correct option is only 1.
My name.
Okay.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Stevenson's, one of the country's major manufacturers of metal goods. Thank you for choosing us for your 2 weeks of work experience. My name is Julia Simmons, and since the beginning of this year, I've been the managing director. Stevenson's is quite an old company. Like me, the founder, Ronald Stevenson, went into the steel industry when he left school. That was in 1923.
All right. So first of all, she said 1923. So now 1923 is not the right answer because he went to steel industry in 1992. So he didn't clarify that's of establish the company in 1923. But in fact, she talked about that he went to steel industry in 1923. So most of the time, do not think that you will find out the correct answer only by choosing the right option. Sometimes even the wrong options. For example, the first option is we said this is wrong option. So now if it's wrong, so even 2 wrong options can guide you towards the right option. So most of the time, sometimes you may straight away find out the correct answer, or sometimes even like if you face problem, so correct the 2 wrong options may lead you towards the right exact correct option as well. So the first option is now incorrect. Let's play it.
He set up this company when he finished his apprenticeship in
He settled this company. So now what year he?
1926.
So he clear setup. Setup means what? Founded this company in 1926. And what about 1924?
Though he actually started making plans 2 years earlier in 1924.
Okay. Although he started clear planning to open the company in 1924. So the first and second, option number A and B, they are incorrect. Why? Because he went to steel industry in 1923. Then he started planning for this opening a setup clear in 1924. And actually he has opened the company in 1926. After this, there's a question originally. Stevenson's manufactures originally, like basically they were manufacturing clear for what? Stevenson's manufactures goods for the health industry, automotive industry, or machine tools industry. But they have written clear the first word originally. Like they might like they clear manufacture goods for different industries, but originally they do it for which industry. So let's see. I'm going to play it for you. And okay, where is the listening?
Was a very determined young man. Stevenson's long-term plan was to manufacture components for the machine tools industry, although in fact that never came about, and for the automotive industry, that is cars and lorries. However, there was a delay of 5 years before that happened, because shortly before the company went into production, Stevenson was given the opportunity to make goods for hospitals and other players in the healthcare industry. So that's what we did for the first 5 years.
So originally they were clear manufacturing for whom? For the health industry. Why? Because for the first 5 years. So for the first 5 years mean what? Originally, clear, they were manufacturing for what? For which industry? They were doing it for the health one, not for the automotive. Let me play it again for you and then you will understand. The problem is I have to move up and down.
Premises comprehense. My name is Julia Simmons, and since the beginning of this year, I've been the managing director. Stevenson was given the opportunity to make goods for me, like me, the founder, Ronald Stevenson, and went into the steel industry when he left school. That was in 1923.
Fine.
He set up this company when he finished his apprenticeship in 1926, although he actually started making plans 2 years earlier in 1924. He was a very determined young man. Stevenson's long-term plan was to manufacture components for the machine tools industry.
So what was his long-term plan? So long-term plan, it was for the machine industry, but that was for the long-term. Clear? Not originally. So now option number C is what? It's totally incorrect now.
Automotive industry, that is cars and lorries. However, there was a delay of 5 years before that happened, because shortly before the company went into production, Stevenson was given the opportunity to make goods for hospitals and other players in the healthcare industry.
So now it's quite clear that the correct answer is for the health. Now, what does the speaker say about the company premises? About the company premises. The first option is the company premises. Option number 1, the company has recently moved. Somewhere they have moved. Number 2, company has no plan. Look, most of the time students, what they do, they start reading the whole sentences. No, just focus on the keywords. No plans to move. Always be careful with negations. No plans to move. And the third, the company is going to move. Recently move, going to move, and no plan to move. So now first of all, listen what it talks about. Either it is moved or no plan to move or shortly going to move.
We did for the first 5 years. Over the years, we've expanded the premises considerably. We were lucky that the site is big enough, so moving to a new location has never been necessary.
Okay,
However,
so moving to a new location has never been necessary. So what does it mean? So they haven't moved. Clear? They haven't moved. So no plans to move. However,
layout is far from ideal for modern machinery and production methods. So we intend to carry out major refurbishment of this site over the next 5.
Okay, for over the next 5 years, they want to go for what? Renovation. Clear? But they don't have any plan to move. And the next one, the program for the work experience group includes time to do research, meetings with a teacher, and talks by staff.
Years. I'd better give you some idea of what you'll be doing during your 2 weeks with us, so you know what to expect. Most mornings you'll have a presentation from one of the managers to learn about their department, starting this morning with research and development. And you'll also...
Okay, let me tell you one thing here. Most of the time what happens that the speaker, they want to talk about one of the options. Suppose he started talking about this option. Now, he wants to use some words. Like he hasn't moved to the next option, like option number A. But he wants to use some of the keywords like research. अब देखिए यहाँ पे कि ये जो ऑप्शन ये बंदा कह रहा है like a teacher, he has used only one keyword from the first option number A, just to trap, just to distract your mind. अब ये बंदे यहाँ पे लगा हुआ है, like he hasn't completed this option. He wants to give you more information about the same option, but he tries to use some keywords from rest of the options, like जैसे research है, staff है. तो ये अल्फाज यहाँ पे क्यों इस्तेमाल करना चाहते हैं? हालांकि ये बंदा वहां पे उसने जंप ही नहीं किया हुआ है. He wants to provide you more information about the same option. And usually students, they are quite easily trapped with by using or hearing a simple word. जैसे अब इस बंदे ने यहाँ पे इस्तेमाल किया. अच्छा, अब दोबारा सुने and you will be very clear. Let me play it. It will be clear.
So we intend to carry out major refurbishment of this site over the next 5 years. I'd better give you some idea of what you'll be doing during your 2 weeks with us, so you know what to expect. Most mornings you'll have a presentation from one of the managers to learn about their department, starting this morning with research and development.
अब देखिए, you will have a meeting, Claire, with one of the staff members. And this morning you will have, the topic is about what? Research. She didn't say that it's time to do research. लेकिन यहाँ पे जो मतलब प्रेजेंटेशन होगा, वो प्रेजेंटेशन किस चीज के बारे में होगा? The topic is research. तो यहां से इन लोगों ने सिर्फ रिसर्च का वर्ड इस्तेमाल किया. एंड व्हाट मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम स्टूडेंट्स दे बिलीव कि अच्छा इन लोगों ने यहां पे रिसर्च इस्तेमाल किया, सो स्ट्रेट अवे दे जंप विद व्हाट? विद ऑप्शन ए. एंड दैट वाज अ ट्रैप. Easily you can be trapped by the examiner. So make sure you understand that.
And you'll all spend some time in each department, observing what's going on and talking to people, as long as you don't stop them from doing their work altogether.
Okay, so now what can be the right answer? The right answer talks by staff. Why? You can talk to them, clear? Until you don't stop them from their work. So keep talking to them. And they have used what? They have used research. There was a trap word. So if someone like use, clear, this option is a research and based on research. So that can be a big trap for you and you may lose quite easy words then. Okay, let's move on towards another practice. Okay, now let's take example this one.
You will hear two.
This example, Claire, this question, let me play the listening from my cell phone that it should be quite clear to you all. And I will be able to explain it a bit more easily. So read the question first. And how many options? It's a multiple answer question, not one. Which 2 parts of the introductory stage to their art project, Claire, do Jem and Tom, Claire, agree? Both of them, they agree. So now the question talks about what? The agreement, Claire, the agreement, both of their agreement. Like for example, Jess and Tom, they agree were useful. So if there are 2 people, suppose if there are 2 people, always keep in your mind if 2 speakers they talk. So make sure that the second person, Claire, the second person response really matters. Wait for the second person's response. Either he agrees or he disagrees. देखिए जी, मेरी बात सुने. अब मैं बोल रहा हूं, मैंने यहां पे कह दिया कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल we want to visit the bird park, Claire, or did you visit the bird park, Claire? मैंने किसी बंदे से पूछा. Now I have to wait for the second person's response. Either he agrees or disagrees. If the second person disagrees, तो इसका मतलब यह है कि जो जवाब मुझे सही मिलेगा दूसरे बंदे से मिलेगा. लेकिन अगर दूसरा बंदा मेरे साथ एग्री करे, if the second person he or she agrees, so the answer what the person has given to me, that is the exact answer. So they have given us the option that which clear 2 parts of the introductory stage to their art project do Jess and Tom agree were useful. अब हमारे पास ऑप्शन जो है वो 5 है, लेकिन दोनों के साथ किसने, मतलब this is not about what if only one person who agrees. अब ये एग्री कर रहे लेकिन Tom doesn't agree, so that option cannot be the right one. So the correct answer can be the one that both of them they agree with. Okay, let me play the recording. Mhm. I don't know which test is this. Anyhow, I can play it from here.
Students called Jess and Tom discussing their art projects. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 24.
Okay, so the bird park, the workshop session, the natural history museum, and the project done in previous years, and then the handouts with research sources. So with which of the option, there are 5 options, both of them they agreed.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 24.
How are you getting on with your art project, Tom?
Okay. Like, they gave us the theme of birds to base our project on, and I'm not really all that interested in wildlife.
Okay, so do you think like he is interested? Tom is interested in this project, this part. So straight away, so first of all, he disagreed with the first one. And now listen to her, the second kid
I'm
person.
starting to get into it. I've pretty well finished the introductory stage.
So have I. When they gave us all those handouts.
Okay, so what did she say? She also said, so did I. She also said exactly the same thing what the first person he said, the Tom said.
Tales of books and websites to look at. I was really put off.
I was really put off. So do you think like they agreed with the first option or they disagreed? Number one. Number two?
Me too. I found I could research so many different aspects of birds in art.